Imagine this for a moment. You are inside a Minecraft world, surrounded by forests, mountains, rivers, and endless terrain. The sun has just risen over the blocky horizon, and the game has only just begun. Normally, this would be the start of a peaceful survival adventure. You would collect wood, build tools, explore caves, and slowly work your way toward defeating the Ender Dragon. But today is completely different, because today, you are being hunted. 6 of your friends are somewhere in this world, and they all share one single goal. They must find you and kill you before you can beat the game. If they manage to eliminate you even once, the challenge ends immediately and they win. But if you manage to survive long enough to defeat the Ender Dragon, then you win the entire challenge. This is the ultimate Minecraft manhunt. 1 runner versus 6 hunters. The moment the game begins, every second becomes critical. Dream wastes absolutely no time. Without hesitation, he turns to the nearest tree and starts punching it. In Minecraft, gathering wood is always the first step toward survival. Without wood, you cannot craft tools, weapons, or basic equipment. While Dream focuses on collecting his first logs, the 6 hunters immediately begin spreading across the terrain. They know something very important about this challenge. The early game is the best chance they have to win. If they manage to find Dream before he gathers resources, before he crafts weapons, and before he collects food, they could end the challenge within minutes. But Dream knows this too. As soon as he gathers enough wood, he quickly crafts a crafting table and begins creating the first tools he needs. A wooden pickaxe appears in his inventory. It may not be strong, but it is enough to begin mining stone. Dream quickly digs into the ground and collects several pieces of stone. Within seconds, he upgrades his tools to stone tools. Now he has a stone pickaxe and begins working toward crafting a stone sword. Meanwhile, the hunters are already searching the area. One of them climbs a hill to gain a better view of the landscape. From the top, he scans the horizon carefully, hoping to catch a glimpse of Dream running through the forest. Another hunter begins killing animals nearby to collect food. Hunger is one of the biggest dangers in Minecraft. If a player runs out of food, they cannot sprint, and that makes chasing Dream much harder. Communication becomes constant between the hunters. One player reports seeing broken leaves on trees. Another notices that a few blocks of dirt have been disturbed. These small clues may seem insignificant, but in a manhunt challenge, they can reveal the direction Dream is moving. Suddenly, one hunter shouts, "I see him!" Instantly, the entire team changes direction and begins moving toward the location. Dream has been spotted running across a grassy hill not too far away. The chase begins. Dream hears the distant voices and immediately realizes the hunters are close. Without wasting a second, he begins sprinting through the forest. Trees rush past him as he jumps over small rivers and climbs steep hills. Minecraft terrain can slow players down, and Dream uses this to his advantage. Instead of running in a straight line, he constantly changes direction. He moves across uneven ground, forcing the hunters to jump, climb, and maneuver around obstacles. Every second he gains is valuable time that allows him to gather more resources and prepare for future fights. Behind him, the hunters are determined not to lose sight of their target. 2 of them run directly behind Dream, trying to close the distance. Another hunter attempts to move ahead and cut him off from the side. Their strategy is simple: surround Dream so he has nowhere left to run. But Dream knows this too. He understands that running forever is impossible. Eventually, the hunters will catch up. So instead of focusing only on escaping, Dream also focuses on preparing for the future. As he runs through the terrain, he collects small resources along the way. He picks up berries, apples, and anything edible that he can find. Food is extremely important in this challenge. Without food, he will lose the ability to sprint, and that would allow the hunters to catch him almost instantly. The tension continues to rise as the hunters get closer. One hunter nearly reaches Dream and swings his weapon, but the attack barely misses. Dream jumps down a small cliff, taking minor fall damage but gaining valuable distance. The hunters follow him down, refusing to give up. Moments later, Dream spots something extremely useful: a cave entrance hidden near the base of a hill. This could be his opportunity. He quickly enters the cave and begins mining iron ore as fast as possible. Iron is one of the most important resources in the early game. With iron, players can craft stronger weapons, armor, shields, and tools. Every piece of iron could mean the difference between survival and defeat. But Dream cannot stay in the cave for long. The hunters are already searching the area above him. One of them even notices the cave entrance and calls the others over. Dream quickly smelts the iron he collected and crafts a shield. This simple item gives him a huge advantage in combat. A shield can block attacks and protect him from arrows or sword strikes. Just as Dream prepares to leave the cave, the hunters arrive. The first real fight of the manhunt begins. Swords swing rapidly as players clash inside the narrow cave tunnel. Sparks fly with each hit, and health bars begin to drop quickly. Dream blocks several attacks with his shield and counters with quick strikes of his own. But fighting 6 hunters at the same time is incredibly dangerous. Even with better equipment, the numbers are against him. Realizing this, Dream makes a quick decision. Instead of continuing the fight, he creates a small opening in the cave wall and escapes through another exit. Once again, the chase resumes. The hunters shout in frustration as Dream escapes yet again, but they quickly regroup and continue tracking him across the landscape. The manhunt is only just beginning, and already the tension, strategy, and chaos are reaching incredible levels. Because in this challenge, one mistake can change everything, and the hunters are getting closer every second. The chase continues across the Minecraft world, and the pressure on both sides begins to grow. At this point in the manhunt, the early chaos slowly turns into something more strategic. Both Dream and the hunters understand that the first stage of the game is about survival and preparation. Whoever gathers the best resources first will gain a massive advantage later in the challenge. Dream keeps running through forests and across wide plains, always glancing behind him to make sure the hunters are not too close. Even though he escaped the cave fight earlier, he knows they are still tracking him. The hunters are experienced players, and they understand how to follow clues in the environment. Broken grass, missing blocks, and partially mined stone can all reveal where a player has gone. Behind him, the 6 hunters continue communicating constantly. One of them suggests spreading out slightly so they can search a wider area. Another hunter focuses on collecting food for the group, killing animals along the way so the team doesn't run out of hunger during the long chase. Maintaining food supplies becomes critical because sprinting is the only way they can keep up with Dream. As the group travels across the landscape, something large appears in the distance. A massive woodland mansion. These structures are extremely rare in Minecraft worlds, and they often contain valuable loot hidden inside their rooms and hallways. The hunters immediately begin discussing whether Dream might head toward the mansion. Large structures like this create complex terrain with many hiding places, staircases, and secret rooms. That makes them perfect locations for ambushes or traps. Dream notices the mansion as well. Instead of ignoring it, he slows down slightly and observes the structure from a distance. A mansion could contain useful items that might help him survive longer in the challenge, but it could also be dangerous if the hunters arrive at the same time. Carefully, Dream moves closer. He circles around the building first, checking the surrounding area to make sure the hunters are not already nearby. The enormous dark oak structure towers above the trees, its windows dark and mysterious. Inside, dangerous enemies called Vindicators and Evokers may be waiting, which means exploring the mansion carries a real risk. But risk is part of the manhunt. Dream decides to enter. Inside the mansion, the atmosphere changes instantly. Long hallways stretch into darkness, rooms branch off in multiple directions, and the building feels like a maze. Dream moves quickly but carefully, opening doors and checking chests while staying alert for enemies. Meanwhile, outside the mansion, the hunters are getting closer. One of them notices the structure and immediately suspects that Dream might have gone inside. The team begins moving toward the building, spreading out around the perimeter to prevent Dream from escaping easily. Inside the mansion, Dream manages to find several useful items, some food, materials, and small supplies that could help him survive the next stage of the chase. But while he is searching one of the rooms, something happens that instantly raises the tension. Footsteps. Dream hears movement outside. The hunters have arrived. Suddenly, one of the hunters bursts through the mansion entrance and spots Dream moving through a hallway. Without hesitation, he shouts to the others, "Dream is inside the mansion!" Within seconds, the entire building becomes a battlefield. Players begin rushing through corridors, swords drawn, trying to locate Dream among the maze of rooms and staircases. The mansion's layout makes the situation incredibly chaotic. Hunters are opening doors, climbing stairs, and searching every corner. Dream moves quickly through the structure, using the complexity of the mansion to his advantage. Instead of running directly away, he moves unpredictably through different hallways, forcing the hunters to guess where he might go next. One hunter finally corners him in a hallway. The first major close combat fight of this stage begins. Swords clash as Dream blocks attacks with his shield and counters with quick strikes. The narrow hallway limits movement, making every hit extremely dangerous. Health bars begin dropping quickly. But the hunters are working together. Another hunter rushes into the hallway and attempts a clever move. By jumping on a teammate's head, he boosts himself forward, closing the distance with Dream much faster than expected. This teamwork mechanic allows players to gain speed and reach targets quickly. Dream reacts instantly, dodging the attack and retreating down a staircase. He narrowly escapes again. The hunters chase him through the mansion corridors, but the complex layout slows them down. At one point, Dream breaks a window and jumps outside, landing on the grass below. For a brief moment, he's free again, but the hunters quickly exit the building and resume the chase across the forest. At this point, another problem begins to appear: food supplies. Some of the hunters have been sprinting constantly since the beginning of the challenge, and their hunger bars are dropping rapidly. Without enough food, their characters cannot continue sprinting at full speed. That could allow Dream to escape completely. So while part of the team continues tracking Dream, others quickly hunt nearby animals to gather more food. It becomes a balancing act between chasing Dream and maintaining the resources necessary to survive. Dream takes advantage of this moment. While the hunters are briefly distracted gathering supplies, he gains more distance and begins preparing for the next stage of the game. He knows that eventually he will need stronger equipment, better weapons, and rare resources. And most importantly, he will eventually need to enter another dimension, the Nether. But entering the Nether is extremely dangerous during a manhunt. If the hunters follow him there, the chase will continue in one of the most hostile environments in the entire game. For now, Dream focuses on gathering more materials and staying alive. Behind him, the hunters regroup once again and continue tracking his path. The chase is far from over. In fact, it's only becoming more intense, because soon, the manhunt will move into an entirely new dimension where the dangers are far greater and survival becomes even harder. And once the Nether portals open, everything will change.